Tell you what, the growing season's done. It's winter. We're getting ready to wrap up presents and all those sort of things like that. And for me, it's a time to look back and have a look and catch up and see exactly what I've done with my bonsai. Because as many of you know, certainly from recent videos, I've got this incredible Bonsai Database stroke app which uses Microsoft Access, and I've got a load of updates that I need to do to get it ready so that I get all the monthly update warnings in 2026. I've also got to put these 2 trees, which I got from Saving Nursery, in as new entries. So I thought, rather than just update on my other system, which has got right now over 560 trees actively being managed on it, I thought, why don't we go through the process of having a look in my description, getting the email link, getting the app. In fact, come on, let's crack on. Let's find out exactly how you can get the best from your free Microsoft Access Bonsai app. It's great, really is. Hi, it's Xavier. Welcome to my bonsai retreat. And do you know what? Right now, I'm looking at the wire on this 4-foot oak, trying to decide whether I should take it off before we head into the wild woolly winter. And there's definitely some marks. But you know where I get the best information about when is the right time? My bonsai app and my bonsai database, which is on a Microsoft Access system. And I've been using it for 5 years now, over 560 trees. Gives me monthly reminder updates. I can have a look back through all the records from when I first got the tree, in this case back in 2017 from Greenwood Nursery. I can find out how much I paid for it, what sort of work I did, when did I repot it, when should I next repot it. That goes into a reminder. In fact, why don't we open up a brand new database? I'm going to send myself an email with the appropriate application request telling what country I'm from, so that you know whether or not to get euros, dollars or pounds. Unfortunately, I haven't got any other currency denominations. Then we'll open it up and we're going to be putting this maple on. We're going to put this olive on there. And in fact, we're also going to put on this sarissa, which I also bought from Saving Nursery. And indeed, we'll whack the pot in there as well, so that you get to see the full functionality on a brand new blank database that you would receive. 5 years, absolutely no problems with it, 560 trees. I've got loads of people around the world using it. Can't hurt to try, can it? Surely. So first of all, let's go down the description of this video and find the email that you're looking for. And here it is now, Bonsai Database Access, and we'll press download. There's our Bonsai Database, and I always move this now to my folder, and up to you how you do it. I'll have it in my documents, and there we go, my bonsai. Open up that up. Archived, we're going to come back to that. The admin died and sold. That might give you a hint why I've got archived. Bonsai database. So I want to save it into there. And inside there, I've already got some folders set up, which is what I suggest you do. Bonsai. And you'll know why we say bid numbers and to be updated. We'll talk about that in a second. Miscellaneous. Again, we'll talk about that. And you know that you've got the ability with this to actually put your pots and everything in there as well. So they're the 3 files that I have ready. And so select it. I'm going to cut it from there and go back, and many of you will say, oh, there's a quicker way of doing that. Bonsai database, it's going to go paste. We're going to put it in that folder there, and there it is there. Now the first thing I'm going to say to you
is take a copy of that, and I always go up one and just in my bonsai paste, and then rename that. Let's just say backup. There is a way to do backups which we'll go through at a later stage. All I'm going to do is open it up with access, and hopefully what we're going to see now is, right, the active content in this file is blocked. Review your trust center settings or contact your IT administrator. Okay, now lots of you are going to get different messages, and it's going to worry you if you're not computer literate or whatever. The reason why it is because your security systems are trying to stop you importing viruses into your system. And all I can say to you is, although there's a 100% warning this isn't a problem, this is a simple macro that's come from doing access. So the thing that it's picking up on is actually the fact that there's a macro involved. You do not need to worry about there being any viruses or anything like that. So it's opened up, and normally there'll be a file or something that says enable macros. So all we want to do is go straight in there and input them. And the way we do that is we go straight to Bonsai. That will bring up this lovely screen here. First of all, straight to new tree. And there you go. Now you can see here BID, and that's a bonsai identification. That's it, bonsai ID, which, if you remember, when we go look back here, we looked at our bonsai, we notice I've got bonsai ID 1, 2 and 3. And what I tend to do is, if I know I'm going to be uploading 20 new trees, I'll already create up to BID 20. So I've already got there. And within those, you're going to put your photos. But right, time to enter a tree. So stage. Some of these you can play around with them, some of you can't. So we'll drop down, and in this case we've either got bonsai, potensai, nursery. Nursery? It's not nursery. So at the moment the tree I've bought, will do the Japanese maple first. So that's going to be potensai or nursery. Now I'll do it nursery if it's going to be down the bottom end of the garden, if it's going to go into a growing bed, anything like that. Potensai means I've probably put it in a pot, or I've already started doing some initial training. And then bonsai, obviously for me it meant that I'm ready to show it, sell it, or I'm pretty happy that it's a finished product. How you deal with those is up to you. Now the first thing I say now is that you look at this button here which says you can edit the list items. If when you press that button you come up with a screen like that, then you're not actually going to be able to do it. There's no separate table for it. That's the limitations of what you've got at the moment. We'll call it potensai. The genus, now again I've got a whole list of different stuff which is relating to all the material I've got in mine. In this case it's a maple, so we've got field maple, Japanese, snakebug, sycamore, trident. In this instance, if you decided that your variety of maple isn't there, so it's a I don't know, a roughhead, hornhead maple, whatever, then click the bottom button, and in this sense you actually see you've got a genus list, which was one of the options you had right on the home page. And again, they're all here, and this is a table you can actually put in. So if you wanted to put in a roughhead, you'd put in a new species, and it would allow you to put in the species type that's there. Style, and there's a whole host here. Again, style, you have a look, you've got the opportunity to do a new one and put whatever style you call, whether it's broken down bonsai style or whatever. All I'll say is whenever you put in a new thing, save and then hit refresh. Again, we close that, come back to our screen here. And the style I'm going to go for there is informal upright. Group, if there's more than one here, you might say, oh, I've got 3 trees in my group or whatever. In this case it's not applicable. Acquired date, that was on the 3rd of December. Got a little useful box there, so we can just that. Entry age, look, you can put what you like there. Sometimes I know normally when there's ceilings and stuff like this, truthfully I've got no idea. I'm going to hazard a guess and say it's probably 5 or 6 years old. May not even be that old, but I'll put a rough one there. Entry method, drop down, these are the choices I've picked. Hopefully it'll cover pretty well there everything that comes to you. but for this it was a purchased one. Entry place, you'll have a look here, it's blank right now. Again, select that, and this is where we go, and this is how I'll show you how this works. So we want to create a new entry place, and the place we're going to put is save in nurseries. Now often we go save that, we'll close, and then we'll refresh, and if we look at entry place, we now put S, up comes save in nurseries. Now what I'll say there is where you're buying lots of trees, you may only have 3 or 4 suppliers. So for me, I'll also have Greenwoods, and in fact you're probably seeing now just how many different places I buy from. So as you increase your database, it increases. So entry cost £39. And again, because I do sell trees and I do have to pay tax at different points, I do need to keep a record of things like this. But it's also good when you look back and find out, how much the original tree cost, because you'll also notice on the next table why that's important. So the size, this is something that at the moment it's locked into these values. So there's not a lot you can do with changing that. And in terms of that maple, I would be calling that a medium. Features, if there's anything about it, and in my case there's nothing particularly, but it may be that it has an interesting bit of dead wood. In fact, it's up to you whether you want to put anything in features. Price, that'll be the price that I'm going to sell it at a later stage. That can be filled in at a later stage as well. And the status, well, you've got a whole load there, and again, to see whether or not you can amend that, no, they're fixed, so you can't do anything more to add more in there. The status, rest in peace, we obviously know what that means. Archived, again, that's something that at a later stage I'll talk to you about, probably in a second part. But at this stage, development. Now we need the best bit here, which is the photo. So we're going to add a photo.
We need to get a really good picture of it, and always try and do the best I can for this. But I'll often also put the price or tags or names of that, because I do tend to forget things. And as you can see, I've got loads and loads of pictures I've taken, 25. If you look back in my file for 2024, there's loads of pictures there. Got my lighting behind me, and I just need to set it up. And for now, get a nice position on it. I tend to use my phone for the picture, only because it's quicker and easier for me to transfer it via Gmail. And if I was looking to sell the tree, then I take all 4 angles. Invariably, all I'm looking to do is I will take a picture generally once a year. As you can see from the files I've got there, I give them a particular reference number. And if I haven't got the pot and the pot's new, then I will come in close and just get a picture of the pot. And I'll tell you what, it's always nice just to have that original reference of what you had, because it's amazing how quickly you build up your collection, and you think you're going to remember this stuff forever, but yeah, you don't. So I always say, keep your photographs, or even if you've taken little videos with your phone, keep little files on your computer system or wherever. Even if you're not going to use them now or next year, it's amazing. Certainly if you set up a channel, what you find you can use. So that's that one. Let's just go get the maple, shall we? And as I say, this will change a lot, but just as a reference picture. Now we need to just pack up. Lights out. Done.
Click on there. We've got the little manage attachments. We want to add a photo. It's going to take us to our folders. Go to our documents, my bonsai, our bonsai database. There's my bonsai. We've got the 3 bids. Now we're doing bid 1 right now. You can see it there. To be updated. And if I've spent a day out doing my bonsai, I'll have 20 photographs in here. But in this instance, I've got a particular way I reference them. Whatever you've done, when you download those pictures, before you upload them to your database, and let's see if we can find one. I've got the olives. There we go. Here's the classic. So this is Sarissa, which is going to be the 3rd one we'll update. Always edit it. So do something, whether it be crop it or do something to change it, because what that does is it gives the correct aspect ratio for the database, and you'll see in a minute what I mean by that. So we'll say okay, and we've saved that, and it's up to you. I will, if you look at this picture here, it's picture 1 of the second one. I do is 1 dot, and then I'll do a 1, which is bid 1, and then the date that I took it. If I take say 2 pictures on the same date, well, there's the second one there. So it's the second picture for bid 1 of that date. And you'll find that when you look back over several years, you may have lots and lots of pictures. Now I've got to the point where I only actually need 1 picture each time I do work. So there are my 2 bid 1 photos of maple. So I'm now going to take them out of the to be updated, and I'm now going to place them in my bid 1 folder. So now I've got my 2 photographs. And I suppose we're not going to do this, but we've got a pot here. And again, if you bought some pots or any miscellaneous items, my framing reference with that is a consecutive number. So this is the first pot that I'm going to add to the system. We'll do that in a minute, but we'll cut that out of there. And in this case, we'll go up again, miscellaneous. So that may be if you've just bought a drip tray, or if you've brought a mudman or something like that, that's where I'll put that. But this is going to be a pot in there. So that's a pot that we're going to be updating in a moment. So let's go back to our main Bonsai database screen. So we click on the box again. We know it's bid 1. We're going to add that attachment. We go to our Bonsai database, Bonsai, bid 1. And we can only select 1 photograph to put on there. So it's going to be the one with the view you like the most. So I'm going to go for that one. We're going to open it on there. And hopefully, there we go. If I'd had it in landscape, it would fill that entire area. So there's the photo updated. And again, if you wanted to have more in there, you can add more photographs. But what you'll find, and we'll add that one, is what it doesn't allow you to do is to see more than one. It's literally, so you pick your best photo and that's the one that you want, although you can do that, but it will still only default to the one that is the number. Okay, so the only thing left to do is notes. Now, this is where, if I'm putting on quite a lot of trees in one go, it may be that I want to remind myself of stuff that I need to do in the future. The only notes I want to put on there is I know with this maple, it has a really bad 90-degree branch. So we save it. That will be forevermore bid 1. You will find with this program that every now and then, and it's often because we accidentally start to enter a new bid, or we only do a bit of an entry, or we hit new bid and then we do something else, you may find that suddenly it skips and you've got a bid number 2 which you can't access, hasn't got anything on it. That's part and parcel of the problem. So you may have this little anomaly. So all I say to you is be very sure and certain and careful when you do that, because once that bid's there, that bid number will always be there. We could close it if we want, or what we could do is go straight to the action log, and that brings us to our main working page. Right, so we're on the action log, and this is where the real nitty-gritty stuff starts happening. Once you've got loads of trees, you can either down here, you see there's the first tree there, they'll start populating down the right hand side. You do have the ability to move that further out if you want. You'll find that you shouldn't need to do much with these. So here we go, we've got the lovely photo in there. I can click that, which means when I do searches for everything that's on YouTube, that's for me. And if I know I want to print it off again, I've got the ability to print off certain stuff, and that'll become obvious in a later video when I talk about more functionality. You do have the ability again to change things from the drop down boxes as you see fit. Maybe that once you've decided on your size classifications, you may think actually I put the wrong one, you can change it. And if you want to go back, again, that takes you back there, and that has a little bit more information, acquired date and stuff like that. The main thing we want to do is start doing actions and log date. So 3rd of the 12th, 25. Oops. Again, it'll tell you if you've put a value incorrectly. So what we'll do is we'll use that. Isn't that a much better way of doing it? Activity. Now, this is absolutely populated with absolutely loads and loads and loads of stuff. And you have got the ability to put new activities in there. But in this case, I always have an administration. So there's other administration, take you to a private collection, propagation, all different pruning, primary, secondary, repots, review, prepare for sale, review other. It's all down to stuff that I like to use, whether I'm going to take stuff that used to be a bonsai here, return to nursery. It may be that a bit like my old man Larch, it's now taking a step back, it's going back into development, so it's certainly not going to be there or available for sale. In this instance, I always do an administration other, purchase. I don't need to say anything more. I haven't done anything at all to it. Action cost, I found that I was costing out. So if I did wiring, I'd actually worked out how much it costs for, you know, if you got a roll of wire costs you £13, you could work out how much it costs per meter. Again, with soil, I worked out how much it would cost per pot for soil. So you could put in a figure there and it would actually change your thing. So if I spent sort of £2 on soil, that action cost will actually come up in the value eventually. So I know that I'm going to be wanting to look at this to cut all this stuff back before the buds burst. So my review date for this, I know it's going to have to be looked at probably around we'll say the 25th of February 2026. You notice there action costs now come up £2, and you'll also notice that the bid value has actually gone up to 41. This is the base cost. As it turns out for this, I don't need anything, and it's back to £39. Now the only other thing that's going to change the value is the pot. So hey, shall we do the pot now, shall we? So if we have a look, I want to put a pot in there. There are no numbers there because I haven't input it. So we go to our screen there, and because we've got this up, it means we have the ability to input. So the item name, well, in this instance, I don't know what the item name is. So what I'm going to do is have a look and see if I can find that pot. So we double clicked on the empty space, and remember, we've already put in our files pots, pot 1. Okay. Now this will not apply to this particular tree, but just to show you on this, so we'll add that. So we've now got this lovely pot, and it's a pot and drip tray. So item name, ceramic, pot and tray. Save in nurseries is where I got it. And then size, your conventions, how you measure that, you can put that in there. Cost of the pot, in this case it was free because it came with the thing. So there you go, and we'll save that. And now we have a look in here. If I go pot 1, there you go, wax it in there. Now if that pot had cost £11, that would have gone up by £11. And that exactly is how you do the entry for one tree. Right, so if we go back to the home page, we've looked at new tree edit action accessories. On the right hand side, I'd suggest before you do anything at all with your database, probably, it's not that you can't amend it later because you can, but these are the ones where if there's anything you don't like in my lists, and it's say actions, I've got administration died, administration other, administration sold, taken into private collection. I've got things like that because I don't want to sell it. Then this is the time to make your changes or add new stuff. It's entirely up to you. Again, there's a lot of English here, and it may well be that you think, actually, before I go any further, seeing what you can do, I may actually say, right, let's start again, clear these, or start doing them in your own language or in your own wording, how you like to see it. I think the only thing I'd say about this is that when your activity comes on, it's important that you recognize it's first letter sensitive. So whatever that first letter is, that's why I've got lots of pruning, whatever, it's going to help you when you do the sort of quick find. So from administration, and you just pick the ones there. And you'll see, if we look at the genus list, again, all your different trees there. You've either got the ability to update them when you're actually putting on your new record, or indeed you can just whack on new ones here. So you put a new one and in it goes. The same thing applies to the style list. You may not like all those different styles. You may want to add a new style. So we'll do a new style called really ugly tree style. There you go. So we can have a really ugly tree if we want. Save it, refresh. That means it'll go through to your next bit. And if you don't like that, it's as easy as delete record. Yes. Save. And everyone's looking at records. Shall we have a quick gander at that? And again, this is really about your administrative afterwards. Sales, that shouldn't really be on here for yourselves, but pull that up. That gives you a spreadsheet of all your accessories. So again, if you have a look, there you go. I've got all my exported tree there. We'll open that up in a minute. So all tree stock, again, if you open those up, we'll cancel that. We'll open those up in a sec. Archiving. If out of any of your trees, and you can hit this on the page itself, but if you're in this back bit, you can archive or print, and that will then print off whatever it is. Archive, if you tick those all three for archive, and then go to click to archive, as soon as you click to archive, those three records will be closed. So although the bid numbers won't be accessible on the main page, but you can see which ones you've archived, because if you go to view your archive, they'll be here. Once you archive, you can't unarchive. So when you hit archive, and I do it once a year, be very sure. But basically, it's an easy way of clearing stuff that's either died, you've sold, or you don't want it in your database anymore. So you'd go to archive, and you can literally walk through there and go archive it, archive it. And equally from this one here, if you want to do a print of, say, that develop maple or whatever, that will give you a print off of that page. Okay, well, hopefully that's giving you an idea of how to use this and giving you a flavour of whether or not it's something you might find useful. The only thing I will say is always is make sure, I mean, you can save as you go along. It's right there. But if you save as, and then you back up the database, you can either do it there, and that's just going to allow you to save it as a database backup. And I would say that you definitely want to have a few savings like that. And there it is.
So I think there you've got a pretty good indication of exactly how you input one tree, how to put a pot in, the fact that you can alter some of the key tables. And I spoke to Lexi, and she actually said you may well find that you can alter those other tables where they've got that little box. So play around with it. Maybe that mine just glitched a bit. But regardless of that, I know some of you say you promised 3 updates on that. Well, the process is exactly the same. I've done the same. I've put the Sarissa fetida. You say potada, I say potato, whatever. That's on there, and indeed the olive there is also updated. So I've got 3 trees on there. Now I do also intend to put a few more trees on there. So by next year in early Jan, I've got 6, maybe 7 trees on there. That's got a few updates so that we can look at actually 2 of the other great features. And that is your review updates, your monthly review updates, where you can actually pick a month, February, March, select it, and you'll get a raft of all the trees where you've asked for a review to be done. I find that a great way at the beginning of each month. I'll actually go to my monthly review and find out exactly what it is I've got to do. And we'll also look a little bit more at the being able to print off a picture and summary of the action you've done on one particular tree, and just work a little bit more functionality on the whole thing itself. Now Lexi has made an undertaking that where you come up with some issues or particular things you'd like fixed or changed, she's actually going to have a look at a how you can do it fix file. So it's not that we can update it by sending you a database or anything like that, but I might do an easy dummy's guide to changing the database or whatever to make it more functional. I know some of you won't be able to work with that, but do you know what? We'll do our best. Apart from that, I'm going to say now a massive big thank you, thumbs up. 2 or 3 people have already given recommendations on what I should do with the olive next year, and certainly I'm definitely looking at the option of doubling the size. And indeed, with the Japanese maple, I had a couple of suggestions, one which I really like the look of, and I'll be following that advice too. So rest assured, when you send me your suggestions, I do save them, I do take note of them, and though I may not always follow that recommendation, if it's a good one, I will. Now, one plea I am going to make, if for whatever reason there's actually quite a lot of you who want to try it, and you know what, it costs nothing. If you've got Microsoft access, why not give it a try? Remember, it's just me. When you send me that email, there could be 20, 30, 40 other people sending me the same email. Be patient, and please, in that first email, make sure you let me know what country you're from, so whether I know whether to send it in dollars, pounds, or euros. Do read the information. Ultimately, it is a free opportunity, and if you do decide after you've had a look at it, after you've had a little bit of a play and are happy with it, to send me a little donation so that I can buy the creator, my daughter Alexia, a little Chinese takeaway or whatever, then by all means feel free to send a little donation, preferably through my PayPal, expressionsbonsai@gmail.com, and mark it up as a gift so Mr. Taxman doesn't take anything away from it. But you know what? I don't care if you don't send anything. Alex has said to me she's over the moon that it's being shared around the world. So tell you what, try it. And make sure you write down in the comments if you like it. And if you think other people will like it who don't watch my videos, share this on some of your other social media sites. Anyway, it's raining, as always. 10 days before Christmas, I've got stuff to do. I wish you all the very best. Happy bonsai and God bless. Cheers.